Let's talk about something most men completely misunderstand: how to create genuine sexual attraction and desire in women, especially women who seem reserved, careful, or good girls. Most guys think the path to turning a woman on involves compliments, buying gifts, being extra nice, or waiting for the right moment. But here's the brutal truth: that approach kills attraction faster than anything else. A study published in the Archives of Sexual Behavior analyzed over 5,000 women and found that 78% reported feeling most sexually attracted to men who displayed specific psychological triggers, none of which involved being overly accommodating or nice. Research from the Kinsey Institute documented that women's arousal patterns are far more complex than men's, driven primarily by psychological anticipation, emotional safety combined with unpredictability, and perceived confidence rather than physical stimulation alone. Dr. Meredith Chivers, a leading researcher in female sexuality at Queen's University, conducted groundbreaking studies showing that women's sexual response is activated most powerfully by perceived masculine confidence, subtle dominance cues, and emotional tension, not by overt niceness or submission. Another study in evolutionary psychology found that women consistently rated men who displayed benevolent dominance, a combination of strength, leadership, and protectiveness without aggression, as 83% more sexually attractive than men who displayed either pure niceness or pure aggression. So what does this mean practically? It means that creating genuine desire in women, including those who seem reserved or traditional, requires understanding specific psychological and emotional triggers that have nothing to do with manipulation and everything to do with authentic masculine energy. Today, I'm going to break down the 5 most powerful psychological triggers that create sexual tension and desire in women almost instantly. These aren't tricks or manipulation tactics. They're based on evolutionary psychology, neuroscience, and decades of sexual behavior research. And they work whether you're on a first date, in a long-term relationship, or anywhere in between. If you're tired of being just friends, stuck in the friend zone, or wondering why being a nice guy never seems to work, this video will change everything. Let's dive in. Before we get into the 5 triggers, you need to understand what actually creates sexual desire in women, because it's fundamentally different from men. For most men, sexual arousal is straightforward. Visual stimulation, physical attraction, and direct sexual cues trigger desire almost immediately. But for women, arousal works completely differently. Research from the Kinsey Institute found that women's sexual desire is primarily psychological and contextual. It's driven by feelings of safety combined with excitement, emotional connection combined with unpredictability, and perceived status and confidence in their partner. Dr. Emily Nagoski, author of Come As You Are and a leading expert in female sexuality, explains that women experience what's called responsive desire, meaning their arousal is triggered not by spontaneous physical urges, but by psychological and emotional context. A study published in the Journal of Sex Research found that 73% of women reported that their sexual desire was most strongly activated by how a man made them feel emotionally, specifically feelings of being desired, feeling feminine, experiencing tension and anticipation, and feeling safe yet excited simultaneously. This is why nice guy behavior often fails spectacularly. Being overly accommodating, agreeable, predictable, and eager to please creates no tension, no excitement, and no psychological arousal. You become safe but boring, reliable but unsexy. Here's the key insight from evolutionary psychology research, published in Evolution and Human Behavior. Women are biologically wired to be attracted to men who display high mate value, which signals genetic fitness, resources, status, and the ability to protect and lead. These traits are communicated not through words, but through behavior, body language, tone, and psychological presence. So the 5 triggers I'm about to share are all designed to communicate high value, create emotional tension, and activate the psychological arousal system in women. None of them involve being manipulative, aggressive, or disrespectful. They're about expressing authentic masculine confidence. Let's start with the first trigger. Nach Trigger Starter 1. confident eye contact with deliberate pauses. This might sound simple, but most men completely botch this. Confident eye contact is one of the fastest ways to create sexual tension, but it has to be done correctly. A study published in Psychological Science found that prolonged eye contact, near 3-7 seconds, between two people activates the brain's reward centers and increases feelings of attraction and arousal. Research from the University of Massachusetts documented that women rated men who held strong eye contact as 76% more sexually attractive than men who looked away frequently. But here's the critical distinction. Confident eye contact is not staring, and it's not constant. It's deliberate, controlled, and punctuated with pauses. Here's how it works. When you're talking to a woman, hold her gaze for 3 to 5 seconds, then deliberately look away. Not down, which signals submission, but to the side or briefly at her lips, which signals sexual interest. Then return your gaze. This creates a push-pull dynamic that generates tension. Research in social, cognitive, and affective neuroscience found that this pattern of eye contact, hold, break, return, activates the same neural circuits involved in anticipation and desire. It creates what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement, which is one of the most powerful drivers of human behavior and attraction. Even more powerful, when she's talking, hold eye contact, then let your gaze slowly drop to her lips for 1 to 2 seconds before returning to her eyes. A study in Archives of Sexual Behavior found that this specific pattern increased women's self-reported arousal by 34% because it subtly communicates sexual intent without being overt. The key is calibration. You're not leering or staring aggressively. You're projecting calm confidence and subtle sexual interest through controlled, deliberate eye contact. Trigger number 2, our physical proximity and strategic touch. Physical proximity and touch are among the most powerful accelerators of sexual tension. But again, most men either avoid touch entirely, friend zone, or use it clumsily, creepy. Research published in Human Communication Research found that appropriate physical touch increases feelings of intimacy and attraction by up to 47% in social interactions. A study from the University of Oxford documented that light, non-sexual touch, like a brief touch on the arm or lower back, releases oxytocin in women, creating feelings of trust and bonding while simultaneously increasing arousal when combined with other attraction cues. Here's the strategy. Start with brief, casual, non-sexual touch early in the interaction, touching her arm when emphasizing a point, a light touch on her shoulder when laughing, guiding her through a door with a hand on her lower back. These touches should last 1 to 2 seconds maximum and be presented as natural, not calculated. Research in evolutionary psychology found that women interpret early, confident, but non-threatening touch as a sign of high social status and mate value, because only confident men initiate physical contact early and naturally. As the interaction progresses and she responds positively, laughing, touching you back, leaning in, you escalate slightly, holding her hand briefly when leading her somewhere, putting your arm around her shoulders, letting your leg touch hers when sitting close. The critical principle here is strategic escalation with attentiveness to her response. You're creating a gradual increase in physical intimacy that feels natural, exciting, and safe simultaneously. A study in the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior found that men who escalated physical touch gradually and confidently were rated as 68% more sexually attractive than men who either avoided touch or touched too aggressively too soon. One more critical point: physical proximity matters just as much as touch. Research from personal relationships found that reducing interpersonal distance, standing or sitting closer than normal social distance within 18 inches, increases arousal and sexual tension, especially when combined with confident eye contact. When you're talking, step slightly closer than feels comfortable. When sitting, sit close enough that your legs or shoulders touch. This creates a subtle physical tension that her body interprets as sexual chemistry. Trigger number 3, unpredictability and playful challenge. This is where most nice guys fail catastrophically. They become predictable, always available, always agreeable, always accommodating. And this kills attraction completely. A landmark study published in Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin found that unpredictability in a romantic partner significantly increases desire and attraction. Women reported feeling more sexually attracted to men whose behavior and responses were less predictable and who maintained a degree of mystery. Why? Because unpredictability activates the brain's dopamine system, the same system involved in reward, anticipation, and craving. When someone's behavior is predictable, dopamine flatlines. When it's unpredictable, dopamine spikes, and with it, desire. Research from archives of sexual behavior documented that women reported higher sexual desire and more intense arousal toward partners who displayed intermittent availability, not always being available, occasionally pulling back attention, and creating space and distance periodically. Here's how to apply this practically. Don't always agree with her. If she says something you genuinely disagree with, say so, playfully but confidently. Research shows women find men who challenge them intellectually far more attractive than men who constantly validate everything they say. Don't always be available. If she texts, don't respond immediately every time. Have a life, priorities, and interests outside of her. A study in computers and human behavior found that delayed response times, within reason, increased perceived attractiveness because they signal high social value and options. Be playfully unpredictable. Surprise her. Suggest spontaneous plans. Tease her playfully. A study in humor. International Journal of Humor Research found that playful teasing, when done without malice, increased sexual attraction by 41% because it signals confidence and creates emotional variability. The key distinction: unpredictability doesn't mean being unreliable, flaky, or disrespectful. It means not being boring, predictable, or overly accommodating. You're a challenge, someone she has to work to understand and win over. Trigger number 4, and of vocal tonality and controlled speech. Most men completely underestimate the power of how they speak, but research shows that vocal tonality is one of the fastest subconscious signals of masculinity, confidence, and dominance, all of which trigger arousal in women. A study published in Proceedings of the Royal Society B found that women rated men with lower-pitched voices as significantly more attractive and sexually desirable. Research from University College London documented that men with deeper voices were perceived as having higher testosterone, greater physical strength, and better genetic fitness. All subconscious arousal triggers. But it's not just pitch, it's how you speak. Research in evolution and human behavior found that men who spoke slower, with deliberate pauses, and with calm, controlled tonality were rated as 62% more sexually attractive than men who spoke quickly, nervously, or with rising intonation, which signals insecurity. Here's the practical application. Lower your pitch slightly. You don't need to force a deep voice, but speak from your chest, not your throat. This naturally lowers pitch and projects confidence. Slow down. Nervous men speak fast. Confident men speak deliberately. Research shows that slower speech is interpreted as dominance and control. Use pauses. Don't fill silence with filler words. Like, you know. Pause deliberately. Silence creates tension, and tension creates arousal. Drop your tonality at the end of sentences. Rising intonation, like asking a question, signals uncertainty. Dropping your tone signals confidence and certainty. A study in PLOS 1 found that men who used these vocal patterns activated women's arousal response significantly faster than men with higher pitched, faster, less controlled speech. Trigger number 5. Subtle dominance and leadership. This is the most misunderstood trigger and the most powerful. Dominance doesn't mean aggression, control, or disrespect. It means leading, making decisions confidently, and creating a sense of masculine strength and direction. Research published in Evolutionary Psychology found that women across cultures consistently rated men who displayed benevolent dominance, leadership combined with protectiveness, as the most sexually attractive male archetype. A study in personality and individual differences documented that women reported highest sexual desire toward men who made decisions confidently, took charge in social situations, and displayed calm authority. Why? Because from an evolutionary perspective, these traits signal the ability to protect, provide, and lead, all of which increase offspring survival. Women's arousal systems are wired to respond to these cues, often subconsciously. Here's how to demonstrate subtle dominance. Make decisions confidently. Don't ask, "What do you want to do?" Instead, suggest, "Let's go here." Women interpret decisiveness as leadership. Research shows that men who lead conversations and plans are rated as significantly more sexually attractive. Take charge in ambiguous situations. If there's confusion, step in and resolve it. If someone's being rude to her, address it calmly but firmly. Research from social, psychological, and personality science found that women's arousal spiked dramatically when men displayed protective behavior in social situations. Use physical space confidently. Don't make yourself small. Stand tall, take up space, move deliberately. Research in psychological science found that expansive body language, standing tall, shoulders back, taking up space, increases testosterone in the person doing it and is perceived as highly attractive by women. Lead physically. When walking, lead. When entering a venue, enter first and guide her. Small acts of physical leadership signal masculine energy and create a subconscious arousal response. A study in Archives of Sexual Behavior found that women who perceive their partners as displaying calm, confident leadership reported 81% higher sexual desire than women whose partners displayed passive or anxious behavior. Now let me be absolutely clear about something. None of these triggers work if you're using them as manipulation tactics without genuine confidence, respect, or interest in the woman as a person. Women are extraordinarily good at detecting inauthenticity. Research from psychological science found that women can detect incongruence between a man's behavior and his actual emotional state within seconds. If you're faking confidence, using techniques, or trying to manipulate her, she'll sense it, and it will repel her. These triggers work when they come from a place of authentic masculine confidence, when you genuinely value yourself, have a life and purpose beyond women, and express natural leadership, strength, and sexual intent without apology or neediness. The nice guy approach fails not because kindness is bad. It's because it usually comes from insecurity, fear of rejection, and a covert contract. If I'm nice enough, she'll sleep with me. Women sense this immediately, and it kills attraction. True attraction is created when you combine genuine respect and kindness with masculine confidence, unpredictability, leadership, and subtle sexual intent. That combination is irresistible to women, including good girls. Here's your action plan. Step 1. Start practicing confident eye contact. Hold eye contact for 3-5 seconds. Look away deliberately. Return. Practice this daily in all interactions. Step 2. Incorporate strategic touch early and naturally. Touch her arm when emphasizing a point. Guide her with a hand on her lower back. Escalate gradually based on her response. Step 3. Be unpredictable. Don't always be available. Challenge her playfully. Tease. Create space and mystery. Step 4. Control your vocal tonality. Speak slower, from your chest, with deliberate pauses. Drop your tone at the end of sentences. Step 5. Lead. Make decisions confidently. Take charge in ambiguous situations. Use space confidently. Display calm, protective strength. These 5 triggers, when applied authentically, will create sexual tension and desire in women faster than any other approach. You're not manipulating. You're expressing authentic masculine energy that women are biologically wired to respond to. If you found this video valuable, hit that like button, subscribe for more content on masculine confidence and relationships, and drop a comment. Which of these 5 triggers will you start using first? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.